Determined women of destiny. Oh yeah, we're beyond the motivator. Come and see. Passion meets purpose every single time. Amazing women shining, letting their light climb. Stories to empower, courage to believe, courage inform, inspire. You will achieve. Women of destiny.
Well, it's your girl, Yvonne, the motivator, and you are checking out Determined Women of Destiny. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Joseph Slinger, my partners, 520 Collective, Mr. C Live, and Infinite Melodies. Today, my guest, all my guests are special, but this one is really special. She's a caretaker. And if any of you have had to care for a family member, or even if you had to care for someone in the hospital or nursing home, you know how important it is of a job as a caretaker. So I want to welcome to the show Jamaica McDuffie Johnson. Welcome, Jamaica.
Hello.
Well, listen, let's jump right into it. You are the full-time caretaker for your grandmother.
I am.
Yes, and your grandmother was in New York. You came to New York. You flew her back down to South Carolina, and for the last 2 going on 3 months, 24 hours a day. Tell us a little bit about how you just get through the day. You know, what you do, what it's like, because we're all going to have parents that, are going to be of a certain age and they're going to need care. And your grandmother said she wanted to stay in her house till the day she died. So people's lives had to change because she didn't want to go to no nursing home. She didn't want to go to assisted living. So give us a day in the life, okay?
Oh, wow. Well, at first, every day is different. The only thing that is the same is that she gets medication at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Other than that, anything before, after, and in between that is up in the air. Some days she wakes up and it's a good day. We get up in the morning and have that medicine at 8, coffee and toast. I guess that's like her appetizer because she doesn't like to have breakfast right away. She wants breakfast like 10:30. And it's a struggle to get her to come out her room. So most of the time I'm just going in there randomly, just trying to make up conversation. But she's not much of a talker. And when she don't want to talk, she don't want to talk. So you might just go ahead and leave.
So your
when she's ready for And when she's ready for you to go, she says, okay, thank you. So that means you could just go ahead and leave. So I get the okay, thank you.
Is your grandmother facing dementia at this time?
She is. There hasn't been an official diagnosis as of yet. But, from what I've read and researched, that is what it is. She is not remembering where she is, who I am, and some of the people that live in the house with me, which happen to be her great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren, So, that is kind of hard to take that, I'm here with her all day, every day, and she doesn't know who I am, But she's here, so I just watch her like a hawk. It's almost like having a toddler now. It really is. So I'm watching this camera just to see where she's putting things. She will hide her pocketbook 50 times and will come ask me where it is 50 times. And because I've been looking at her in the camera, I know exactly where it is. So I don't I don't know how else to get her to not throw it behind the chair, to not bury it underneath her shirts in the dresser drawer. I don't know how to get her to not do that. Um, so I just go through the same thing over and over every day. She'll ask me the same questions, or she'll tell me, why not leave her in New York and she could have taken care of herself. Um, but then I just remind her of the, everyday daily self care things she's not remembering to do often enough or at all. So how could I leave you to be by yourself, knowing that you are not remembering to feed yourself, take a bath, do anything, take your medicine? So no, I can't do that. Of course, that's not what she wants to hear, but So we have that conversation just about every day. But I explained to her that as long as I'm alive, she's gonna be right with me, and that's just that. Um, and I told her, I said, I hope one day you'll be happy here. I said, but until then, this is where you are, because
Yeah, this is it.
there's no other option.
Yeah,
Like there's no other option. But I do my best to give her everything she needs and wants and be at her beck and call. She gets 3 meals a day. She gets snacks. She gets whatever she wants. If she happens to mention she wants something, I run to the store and buy it just because I want to give her whatever she wants. I want her to be happy. So I'm pretty much at her beck and call.
and your grandmother is affectionately called Miss Clara, and Miss Clara is 93.
Yes, she is.
And most people don't have their grandmothers, right? By the
Right.
time you're a teenager, you don't have a grandmother. And so here you are, a nice age, and your grandma is still here, and now she is with you. That has got to be a wonderful thing.
It is. I'm in a. I feel like I'm in a tough spot because I want to enjoy it, but it's hard to enjoy it because I have to almost be like her parent. So I got to be two people.
Right. I was just gonna say,
I don't
when
get to. I don't get to just enjoy being her granddaughter. I
that
gotta be the nurse, the doctor, the psychiatrist, the all the things, and get to be the granddaughter after all of that first.
and see,
So it's just a tough spot to be in.
and after a while, um, the child becomes the parent, and the parent becomes a child. And I remember this one saying, a mother can take care of 10 kids, but 10 kids can't take care of one mother. And I used to think about that, and I'm like, yes, because that mother is an adult, and that mother can say no, and that mother can resist. Where children, they don't have that type of outlet. So if Miss Clara says, I don't want to eat, you can't force feed her.
No,
If Miss Clara says, I don't want to wash, you can't force her. If Miss Clara says, I don't want to come out the room, you can't make her do it.
no,
So for everybody that says it's a shame, one mother can take care of 10 kids and 10 kids can't take care of one mother, just remember that mother's an adult, and that's what makes it difficult. How do you take care of you through this process? Because it's got to be strenuous. Like you said, you don't get to enjoy your grandmother as her granddaughter. You're the nurse, you're the psychiatrist, you're even the disciplinarian, because when she does what she shouldn't do, you have to tell her you can't do that.
right.
You know,
I'm the
so,
enemy most days.
so you have all these hats on. How do you take care of you?
I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure it out. Like something as simple as, going to the nail salon the other day. I was like, dang, I haven't done this in a while. It feels nice to just sit here and let somebody massage my feet and rub my hands, and so I'm just gonna get back to that, doing that more often like I did before. But I'm still trying to figure it out because, like I said, every day is different. So it's kind of hard to create a schedule. Honestly, it just depends on her temperament, her mood, how she feels for the day is how I roll. So she sets the tone for the day. So however it's gonna be, I just roll with however she roll.
And you see, these are conversations that we should have with our parents before they get to this age, right? When our parents are up and spry in their 50s and 60s, we need to have these conversations. We need to say, hey, listen, one day, Dad, you won't be able to mow the lawn like you are doing today. What are your wishes? What do you want done? It needs to be put down on paper. So in case they forget, you now have a document. Even like financially, right? If your parents have a house, put that in a trust. Because if by chance they have to go into a nursing home, they're snatching the house, they're snatching the bank account, they're taking everything.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, we say, okay, we're going to take care of mom, we're going to take care of dad, or sometimes we're taking care of both. And there's so many other things that need to be put in place that we have not, that we do not. And so that conversation needs to be had early on. Now, I'm going to give y'all a little inside scoop. Jamaica is my niece. The grandmother she takes care of is my mother. And before y'all start passing judgment, well, why don't you take care of your mother? I was. I was working full time, taking care of my mother, still trying to do a podcast for y'all. You ever wonder why my podcast went from video to audio? Because I had to pack up everything and move home, and I didn't have my studio. Life changed drastically as my mom's health changed. And unfortunately, there were 3 deaths in our family at one time. And Jamaica's cousin passed. My oldest friend passed. And Jamaica's wife's stepfather passed. So my niece had already come up here, and she had been asking for a minute. Hey, I want to come take care of grandma. I'm like, nah. No. You got your life in South Carolina. I'll handle it. And when she came up here, end of August, right? No, beginning of August, she and her wife said, we're going to take grandma back to South Carolina. And at first I was shocked. And my niece said something to me I'll never forget. She said, it's not only just for grandma, it's for you too. You can't do this alone anymore. And every time I think about it, I get misty-eyed, right? Because when you're caring for your parent, people look at you like, oh, she got it, right? Because somehow we make it look easy, right? If you ever watch Jamaica with my mom, you're like, oh, she got this. But because I know the other side of it, I know how strenuous it is and how it can take a toll on your mental. And to be...
We're winging it over here.
Right? Because I was winging it over here. I was doing the best, I could. I mean, I work full time. My mom's caretaker was my cousin. She was only here 4 hours though. So there was time before she got here that my mom was alone. And after she left, before I got home. And there's some stuff that happened between those small periods of time, So we just want to let you know that caretaking is a labor of love, but discuss it early on. My mother took care of my grandmother, and she gave up everything to do it. So when it came time for her to get to that age, she just thought somebody would give up everything like she did. And I'm like, Ma, you know what you're asking? Right? I wasn't retired. My mom was retired. My mom didn't have a business. I had one. So my niece said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it full time, and that's it. And I pray for my niece every day that she is strengthened and she doesn't get weary in well doing, because she does an excellent job. Like, if those of you who follow her, Mika, what's your Instagram?
Shamika Renee.
Okay, and don't you have Dear Black Woman?
That is TikTok.
Okay, TikTok, Dear Black Woman, and then Jamaica Renee on Instagram. You will see the pictures of her with her grandmother. Like, they got her a jersey, a football jersey, got her with her two fingers up. Like, my mother know what them two fingers is up for, right? Then Jamaica's granddaughter is 24 hours of entertainment, right? There's always someone in the house, where here in New York, most of the day, even though 4 hours there's someone, but it was a lonely place to be. And even though my mother wanted to be in her home, it wasn't the best place for her. So I commend my niece, my nieces, you know, everybody has come together to say, we're going to take care of grandma or nanny. And they're doing a phenomenal job. When I go down there, my mom looks good. Her hair is done. Not that I think it wouldn't be. Of course, you're going to take care of her. But I'm just like, 24 hours a day. This is your calling right now. And like she said, she's working on how she is taking care of her self-care. So she said, I'm going back to get my nails and my toes done. That's one thing I'm putting into place, where I can take care of me, because when you're a caregiver, you forget about you. You're so into caring for that person. And that's why a lot of times a caregiver, after the person they're giving care to passes away, they're not here long, because they neglected themselves. So Jamaica, tell me, your whole household is involved in this, right?
Everybody.
Everybody, your daughter, your granddaughter, your wife, your son, even your daughter,
Everybody.
even your daughter and her boyfriend that don't live in the house, they're still involved in the care of Miss Clara. So
it's truly a team effort over here.
Oh my goodness. I tell you, from the outside looking in, it's like, ooh, this is easy. They got this working. And that's how sometimes people feel. And, it just is not. It just isn't. Jamaica's daughter is aspiring chef. She over there making gourmet meals. Her meals be looking like Wolfgang Puck plates, right? You have the pancakes with the sausage, with the eggs, and the strawberries. Child, I be cracking up. I'm like, go ahead, Chef Herb. And that's her name, Chef Herb. Go ahead, Chef Herb. Make them gourmet meals. I have watched my mother say, is there anything to eat? And Jamaica go and fix something to eat. My mother takes 2 bites. Jamaica wraps it up, takes it in the kitchen. And an hour later, oh, is there anything to eat? And so now my niece, who doesn't like to give her what she ate previously, is now looking for something else to feed her, for her to take 2 bites.
I feel like she ain't want it the first time. She ain't gonna want it the second time around.
And you see, people wouldn't even think about that. They're like, oh, okay, she didn't finish, so if she wants something later, maybe she'll eat this.
No, let's just go ahead and switch it up.
Now, this is a funny story. My mom always watched soap operas, right? She was a big soap opera person. So the night soap operas is what she was watching. And I called one day, and my mother gave me this story. Remember, Jamaica? Oh my goodness. All the people that was here last night, they're going to court.
Coming
And
in and out the house.
yeah, she said, Vaughn, and that's when my mother called me, Vaughn, if you was here, I know you take care of everything. And I called my niece and I'm like, who was at the house last night? My niece was like, nobody. And so her daughter, Chef Herb, said, you know what that's from? That's from If Loving You Is Wrong. My mother told me the whole episode she had watched that night and
Right.
said,
Thought it was me.
and thought it
But who
was,
were the people you had in the house? Who
yes,
are those people that was here? I'm like, Grandma, there was nobody here. Nobody
yes.
comes here.
And so we're laughing at that. And we're not laughing at it like we're laughing at her. We're giggling because this is what happens with dementia. And though sometimes it can be frustrating, sometimes it can definitely tickle the heck out of you. You know, my mother has always been a particular type of person anyway. And my niece goes out and gets her some clothes and she says, when I go to the doctor, I like to look nice. I don't want to look like a ragamuffin.
Right.
And when when Jamaica told me, I said, Mommy don't even know what a ragamuffin is. What is
Right.
she?
I was like, okay, Grandma,
What is she?
I'll get you something else.
What
I'm
is
gonna
she
bet you
saying?
buy something else.
So not only is Jamaica up 24 hours, basically because she has the camera in the room, but she's her stylist too. She got to run back and forth and make sure her clothes are okay, right? She's her hairstylist. She has shout out to Keon over at Wavelengths. If you're in South Carolina, check him out. Call and make your appointment first because they always booked up. But Keon said, yeah, come on down to the shop and just wash grandma's hair. Take care of it. My salon is open to you, you know. And so my niece was down there washing my mother's hair, and just taking care of her. She caught me doing her nails. So, we're trying to make sure that my mother's later years are years that bring her happiness. And that's all you can do at
Yeah.
at this age with my mom. Now everybody at 93 doesn't go through dementia, and they may go through dementia, has different aspects. There's someone who's going through it very bad. There's some people that's going through it very light. There's some people in the middle. But dementia is dementia. And it can be very frustrating because a lot of times I'm talking to my mom and she says, oh, I just get so confused. And she's frustrated with herself.
Because she knows that something is different about herself, but she doesn't understand what it is.
Right. Or why.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in her late 80s, she would say, Vaughn, is there a test for dementia or Alzheimer's? I said, yeah, Ma, you speak to your doctor. And she never did because I think she was fearful because she started seeing the onset of it. And if knowing what I know now, then I would have made the appointment for her. If you have parents that are reaching that age, there's memory courses and classes to help them retain their memory. It doesn't have to be lost, as long as the doctor can diagnose them early enough. My mom is riddled with arthritis because all my mom does is sit. If you have parents that are a certain age, please make sure they're up and moving, because if you don't move it, you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And my niece has tried to get my mom up and say, hey, come on, just walk outside. My mother's like, no. No. And we had a conversation. I said, Mom,
like that. No.
yeah, you gotta, Ma, if you would have moved a little bit earlier in life before you got to this point, you wouldn't be at this point. And I had my niece cracking up. I said, Mom, you had the nerve to say to me, oh, I ain't never believed in exercise.
Mm-mm.
I said, and that's the reason why arthritis, I believe, have taken over your life. right? But we all have arthritis. It's passed down from my grandmother, my mother, my sister, myself, my niece, my daughter. We all have suffered with it. Those of you who know me and see me in living color, um, you notice that I have a limp lately, and that's because arthritis is hitting this hip and getting a little bit hard to walk without it. My thing is, I just thank God I can still walk, so a limp ain't a problem.
Right.
So, Jamaica, um, tell us some of the things that you have planned for your grandmother to just help her life be more enjoyable. Because some of your tips can help people who are caregivers already for their parents and grandparents, or this is something that will be coming up for them.
Um, One thing I will say is just try to keep answers as simple as possible. Not too much detail because that just adds to the confusion. And if it's something that you can agree to, just go ahead and say yes because it will never end. Like there's some pictures that she believes are some little boys. I've stopped trying to tell her that it is the same child, Easton, as an infant. So I just tell her that the little boys went home
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
because otherwise it's going to be the same over and over again. You
Mm-hmm.
know, where they at, where they sleeping at, so they went home. Oh, okay. And then I just leave it at that. So I'm learning to just keep it as simple as possible, to just kind of, less confusion, keep it simple. Because if it's too detailed of an answer, then this is going to lead to more confusion and more questions.
Right. And then the more
And then she'll be
questions.
agitated because she's really not understanding. So then now she's upset. So the bottom
Yeah.
line is to keep her from getting agitated.
Right. Very much so. Because the calmer she is, the more easier it is to
Yeah,
care for her.
yeah,
And you want care for them to be as easy as possible, because
mm-hmm.
if it's not, now mentally you're going to be exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Not even so much physically, but mentally
Yeah,
exhausted, because I know when she was here in New York, I was constantly exhausted. Oh my
yeah,
God, until I learned what you said, just yes, everything. Just
yeah.
yes, everything. You know.
Mm-hmm. I just constantly reassure her that everything is good. So whatever she's questioning, I tell her, okay, I'm gonna take care of it. Or I always say, I refer to you. Yvonne already did it. She took care of it, and she's like, oh, okay. Well, did she do? Yeah, she did it already. Or she's on the phone with them now. I just go ahead and give her the answer that I know she's looking for. She wants a resolution, so I'm just giving her the resolution, so she's not worrying about it. Even if she asks me 12 times about the same thing, I'm gonna go, yeah, Yvonne did it already. Yvonne did it. I'll say it 12 times all day.
Yeah, and that's
So
it. The repetitiveness, you have to prepare yourself for it, because sometimes it's just like, I just told you
yeah.
that. you know, and you're
Yeah, like
like,
Amaya went in her room the other night, turned off her light, and turned on the bathroom light for her in her bedroom. She told me the next morning that we weren't watching Easton enough. I mean, not Amaya. Easton went into her room in the middle of the night, turned off her bedroom light, and turned on her bathroom light. Now, Easton has been doing this at night, but Grandma has been asleep, so she didn't know. So this particular night, she happened to wake up and see her. So the next morning, she said to me that we are not watching her well enough because she came across the street in the middle of the night and was in her bedroom. I said, Easton does not live across the street. Easton lives in this room right here beside you. So in her mind, everybody's bedroom is an individual house.
yeah, yeah, and she
So
doesn't.
when I explained that to her, and then she said, "Oh, okay." But then a couple hours later, when she saw Amaya, Easton's mother, she was really trying to check her. Like, I might say, I guess Grandma was trying to check me about watching Easton because she kind of came at me.
And she doesn't realize that Easton is an independent kid, right? Easton is,
So, she just was like, no,
yeah.
Nanny, her room is right there. She didn't go outside. She didn't have to cross the street. She wasn't in the dark. Her room is right here. She's been turning your bedroom light off and leaving your bathroom light on at night so you can see. But you're asleep usually when she comes in there. You just happen to be awake, She was like, okay, but, her okay was like, she wasn't really believing it. Like, you need to watch her still.
And see, not understanding that this is a family affair. Everyone in the house knows we are keeping an eye on Nanny. Nanny needs stuff to be done. So the 6-year-old saw the light on and the bathroom light wasn't on. So let me turn the light off in the room and the bathroom light on, because when I go to the bathroom, I want a light on so I can see.
Right.
So I'm quite sure.
Also, explain to Easton, as much as a 6-year-old can understand, that Nanny is 93 and she's older and she doesn't remember things. And sometimes she forgets things. And sometimes she may say some things that are really weird and strange. I said, well, she's just getting confused. And sometimes she just messes up a little more often than we do. I said, so if she says something confusing or something weird that you don't understand, just say, okay, Nanny, and come tell somebody, what's going on. So, she's aware of what's going on to the best of her 6-year-old ability. You know what I mean? So, she does her little part.
As everybody does. So, publicly, I want to tell my niece, Jamaica McDuffie Johnson, thank you. I love you. I appreciate the care you give my mom. I hope those of you that are listening today was able to get some tips, but also feel that you're appreciated, taking care of your loved one, and always try to reach out and get help if you can, because trying to be a lone soldier in this, it's exhausting, and it can be very debilitating if you don't watch it.
It ain't for the weak.
Ain't for the weak at all, right? So, Jamaica, thank you for being on the show, giving us some insight to your life, the 24-hour caregiver. And as I always end my show with, y'all keep doing what you're doing till what you're doing gets done. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
Destiny.